Hi guys, I am Chhavi Gupta. I am one of the 100 percentilers of CAT 2017 and I'm currently studying in IIM Ahmedabad. I just want to tell you about this new subscription that an academy has launched, an Academy Plus. You can download the app and check that out. You will find a lot of different, uh, strategies which you can use for your preparation of CAT. So I just want to tell you very, very basically what kind of preparation strategies you should use for your CAT exam. So starting with like if you have decided on taking the exam, first you need to figure out like where your strengths and weaknesses lie. For that, I would advise you to start taking mock tests from the starting. So whenever, do not wait to finish all the syllabus that's there because there's no defined syllabus as such. And I think you should start taking mock tests as soon as possible. So that would be one thing. And once you have identified, these are my few weak points, I would advise you to start with the basics over there. So whatever material you're using, start with a few basic in these, like whenever you are practicing, I would advise you to practice with a timer. So CAT is a timed test, as you all know, and the pressure of timer is really high, especially in sections like LRDI. So it's always advisable that even while you are practicing and preparing for questions, you keep a timer so that you have in your mind how much time it is actually taking me to solve a particular question. So with that, you can actually improve your speed as well as your accuracy. So this is one thing you should do. I'll just go section wise in which the way you can prepare for each section and what I did there. So going for VARC, for that you need to have like obviously very good English skills, and for that you should be reading a lot of editorials or fiction or novels in general. So what happened was I read a lot of novels in general, and that's why I was a bit good with my reading comprehension. So I would advise anyone who's preparing for the exam to start reading at least a few editorials to get a bit acquainted with reading about different topics. So this is one thing you can do. Another thing is that try and increase your reading speed because that will also help you. In that ways, you'll invest less time in reading and more time in actually solving the questions. Then coming to LRDI. So for LRDI, I mean, it is kind of the make or break section of CAT nowadays. So what you can do is that you need to first go through the basics of complete LRDI, and then you need to practice a lot of sets. Now, suppose you have done some kind of basic sets of a particular topic. If you think that you're very comfortable with it, try and reduce the time limit in which you do it. If you were doing it in 10 minutes, now do it in 8 minutes. So it would help you to think very quickly because in CAT, the kind of questions that come, they're a mix of a lot of strategies. And you need to think really fast during your examination. Another thing, which is a softer aspect, but try not to panic in your LRDI. This you will gain by giving a lot of mock tests. So you might actually, I felt a bit panicky during one of my mock tests, and that is how I was able to prepare myself to ensure that this does not happen in my final exam. So I would advise you to give in a lot of mock tests for that. Then coming to quantitative ability, over here the topics are a bit. I mean, they are the topics are in themselves not very difficult, but the questions can be a bit tricky. And because again it is a timed exam, your time pressure could take away your best, whatever best you could perform. So again, for this, even when I prepared, I ensure that I do not take more than 2 minutes in solving a question. So if I'm taking more than 2 minutes, either I change my strategy for that question, or I would know that these are the kind of questions that take a lot of time, and in the final exam I would keep them for later. So this is something that you could do on your own. So these are the major things that I wanted to talk about. Any specific questions, if you have, you can obviously ask me. So basically, just start reading a lot to help in your exam. And for LRDI, just ensure that you do not panic. Keep a timer always with you when you're preparing. This is a must. And do not be scared of mock exams, mock tests. Whatever score you score in mock test is just for you. So do not be scared that I'll be scoring a less percentile or something. It is just helping you get better, and it would be better if you could track your performance over the months. So just ensure like what kind of percentile you are getting in each of the sections, what is your accuracy in each of the sections, and you will be able to identify whether my accuracy and speed are increasing or not. So this is something that you could do. So I guess I'll take a few questions. So one of the question is how to improve your English. Assuming that you know the second would be that if you read a few big passages, try and summarize them in say 2-3 sentences. That ways your comprehension will increase a lot. That ways you will be able to read the whole passage and make some kind of inference out of it. So that is English. You need to recall the words very quickly, and that will increase your grasp on the language. So that is something that you can do. Apart from that, definitely you should start reading some kind of novels that will increase your reading speed as well as your comprehension. And as I mentioned, read editorials. They kind of help you in identifying and actually getting comfortable with the different kind of topics that come in RC section of CAT. So there could be some topics, say some science related topics or psychology related topics, which you're not really interested in. So just for that sake, you should read different editorials so that you get used to reading different kind of topics. So this is something that you can do. Okay, there's another question like I'm weak at quant, so what to do about it? So if you're weak at quant, first I think you should do a bit of basics. You can do it from any kind of online videos probably, or any kind of material that is available for basic quant. The according to the exam makers, the syllabus is basically your 9th and 10th NCERT ones. So if you think you're really weak, you can go back to your 9th and 10th class, do the NCERT. That way your basics will be clear. You will be able to cover a wide range of topics. And then further, you can go ahead and increase your difficulty level for each topic, for each kind of questions, etc. Okay. So then again, there's a question like how much time will it take to be fully prepared? So see, to get fully prepared, I mean, it depends on where you stand currently. If you think your verbal is really, really weak, then you need more time to put in your verbal. See, and that is how it works. So just gauge where you are currently, and then further, it took me around 7 to 8 months. I started in March end, and you can do similarly, you can identify where you are and then start your preparation based on that. It should not take long, but if you feel that it takes long, then you should dedicatedly invest some time on a daily basis for your exam preparation. What subject do you prepare for this exam? So basically there are 3 sections. First is verbal ability and reading comprehension. Second is your logical reasoning and data interpretation. And third is quantitative ability. So these are the 3 things you should work on, you should start working on. There's another question on that. I'm weak in LRDI. What should be my approach to solve 5-6 sets within 3 hours? First, you do not get 3 hours for the LRDI section. You get just 1 hour, and there are 8 sets that are there. So you should try and prepare so that you can solve 5 to 6 sets within 1 hour. That should be your aim. Secondly, the kind of strategy that I used was that so whenever you're giving a mock, you identify, you see there are these 8 different sets. I used to go through them, and then I would make a sequence in which I would attempt these questions. And then again, whenever I'm attempting a set, if in 5 minutes I think that I'm nowhere close to solving the set, I would leave it. So this is something that you can use. It is not that you have to solve a particular set. Even when you are preparing, I would advise you to give not more than 12 minutes to one particular set. If you are unable to solve it in 12 minutes, there's something definitely wrong in the strategy, or this is a very difficult question which you should definitely leave in your examination. So this is some strategy that you can use. There's another question on how to remember vocabulary. So the person really forgets very quickly. See, remembering vocabulary, I mean, if you open a dictionary and start reading and trying to remember the words, that won't work. So the way it works is that if you're reading any new passage per se, if you find any new words, you identify those, try and comprehend the meaning of that word through that sentence only, and then take out your dictionary and identify what was the real meaning. Then use that word 1 or 2 times in that day itself, so that it goes into your memory. And do not try to memorize more than 2-3 words a day, because it doesn't really work like that. If you try and remember a lot of definitions, you will end up mixing everything. Okay, so how do you stay focused and not get distracted by outside world, parties, gossip, internet? Yes, this is something critical for our generation that goes on. So basically, you need to be really motivated to work for the exam. If you think that this is something you need to do, you need to put your focus on it, and you need to be self-motivated. I mean, people can always push you to study, but till the time you are not self-motivated, you might end up just daydreaming. So it's very important for you to realize the importance of this exam for your career, for your life. And if you think that it is important, I think this self-motivation will come in inherently. So that is what you should do. If you feel that you are still very weak and you get distracted, so you can try and like study in an isolated room, keep your phone on the other side. So just ensure, minimize the kind of distractions, and then obviously you need some kind of motivation from yourself. Can we crack this exam? Yeah, definitely you can crack this exam. And if you start preparing now, it is very much possible that you are able to crack the exam. It's in November end. So I guess that's it for today, guys. Good luck for your CAT preparation. Good luck for your GDPI, all the calls that you have got. And I guess that's it. Good luck, guys. Thanks.